Okay, that's good. So good morning to all of you. So I hope everyone is already started studying or started preparing for your final exam already. And for today's tutorial, it will be your very last live tutorial session. So for tutorial 11, we are going to cover two topics here. We are going to look at regulation of financial accounting, which is regarding to your lecture 10, and we are going to look at sustainability reporting, which is relating to your lecture 11. Okay, before I start, I got very important announcement, or this could be a reminder to all of you. Okay, next week is week 12. So next week, I am going to have live final exam briefing, and it is during your lecture time. So your lecture slot is on Wednesday. So next week will be 1st July. I will start a little bit later. So I'll start at 9 to 10 a.m. and I will do it on the BB Collaborate platform on eLearn. So how do you access the link is exactly the same as how do you go to your live tutorial session. The link will be up very soon already. Okay. So on Wednesday, you just go to the link and then you can join the live final exam briefing. Okay, next week, no more live tutorial session anymore. The last tutorial will be pre-recorded tutorial. So this pre-recorded tutorial, I will upload the video on eLearn. Next week, you can view the tutorial video at your own time. Okay. This week also no more workshop. So next week also no more workshop already. Okay, another thing is your mock final exam. Remember, I mentioned last week in workshop that I want to have your mock final exam on 6th July, Monday. But unfortunately, I received email from students saying that they have another mock final exam on 6th July. The subject I think is business ethics, right? Anyone taking business ethics this semester in this class, students? Yes, right. So you have the mock exam on 6th July, right? So I have decided to actually move corporate reporting mock final exam earlier on, move to week 12. I will do it on 3rd July, which is Friday. The time here will be in the afternoon, 3 p.m. So it will be full exam. It's like a full exam, 2 hours, on Friday, 3rd July. Students, do you have other mock exam before corporate reporting, before 3rd July? So this week, do you have any mock exam, students? And then next week, before Friday, do you have any more mock exam? IFM, right? Advanced tax. Okay. And then next week, you got advanced audit, 1st July. It's not in the morning. Morning we have live final exam briefing. So I believe Mr. Tan Seng Lee have the exam in the afternoon, right? 1st July. So you are actually doing quite a few mock exam ready before CR. So by Friday, 3rd July, I'm pretty sure a lot of you are quite familiar with the processes already, right? Do not need to worry, students. If you have not studied, finish your corporate reporting, do not need to worry. I just want to test the processes for the mock final exam. So the process is you go to eLearn, download the question, go offline, try to do the question in the answer booklet, type it out, and then you after 2 hours you come back online and upload your answers on Turnitin. Okay, just to make sure the process is smooth, so that during the actual day you do not panic or do not get worried here. Okay, so your mock exam will be questions from your tutorial, and I will actually put in 2 new questions in your mock final exam. Okay, for week 13 is study break. Then I will release your coursework results on week 13. Okay, let's now go into our tutorial today. So for today's tutorial, we are going to cover 2 questions. looking at sustainability reporting. We start with question 2 first, and then we will do question 1, looking at regulation of financial accounting theories. So the remaining 2 questions from Deegan textbook, solutions will be provided on e-learn. Okay, let's go to sustainability reporting first. Sustainability reporting looks at lecture 11, right? Okay, last week I think I have one question in workshop. Student asked me, how should we study for lecture 11? Okay, how should you study? Always look at your flowchart. So your flowchart here tells you 4 important areas that you should focus for lecture 11. So first thing is you need to know the definition of sustainability. This is the broad definition. And then after that, you need to know what is a sustainability report. So you need to know the definition of SR, sustainability report. And under sustainability report, you know that you have to report on economic, social, and environment. So each of these 3 focus area, you would need to be able to tell me, okay, under economic, what should I put? What information should I put? Like under social, what information can I put inside my sustainability report? Under environment, what information can I put inside my sustainability report there? Okay. And then the next important area is 4 stages of sustainability reporting. You need to know each of them. So we are going to discuss this in your tutorial question 2 today. Okay. Then the last part here, important, is GRI. So you need to know what is GRI standards versus integrated reporting. So what I advise all of you students is you type out a brief summary of what is GRI, type out a brief summary of integrated reporting. So when the question asks you in exam, question can ask you compare between GRI and integrated reporting. You already have the answers, right? So you can make the comparison easily. Okay, so that is the 4 key area. Okay, students, so you are aware, right? What or which part you must focus for lecture 11. Okay, let's go to our question 2 today, which is relating to a very short case study. And this case study you cannot find anywhere else. You cannot find from the Star or where, because this case study is created by me here. So it is regarding a company called Print Expert. Okay, Print Expert, the business model is providing printing services. So Print Expert is like the shops outside Sunway University, right? If you want to print your notes, you walk across the road and then you shop and do your printing services. Okay, so the business model is the same as Print Expert. Print Expert is quite special. Print Expert supplies their customer with a choice of using recycled paper. So if you want to print on recycled paper, I charge you cheaper. If you want to print on non-recycled paper, I charge you expensive for the printing jobs. Okay. The third point, it says that because Print Expert do printing services, right? So they have a lot of printing cartridges. So the chemical used in the printing production are disposed of according to the Malaysian rules and regulation. But they still incur a very low level of land and they still incur low level of noise pollution. Okay. Also, Print Expert provides regional employment. So Print Expert provides job opportunities to the society in Arau Perlis. So Print Expert, the shop is located in Perlis in a small town called Arau here. Okay, so you can see that they actually provide job opportunities or employment opportunities. Okay, that's it. Very short. So straight away, go to the requirement of your question. The requirement here very long. So total marks for this question will be 15 marks. You are required to do quite a few things, quite a lot of things here. So assume you are the CFO of Print Expert. So one fine day, the CEO comes to you and asks you for opinion. So he suddenly comes to you and asks you that, I feel that Print Expert needs to prepare a sustainability report. So he asks you for advice how Print Expert should prepare the sustainability report. And in recommending your sustainability report, you should discuss about the 4 stages of sustainability reporting. So in your answers later, you have to discuss one by one each of the stages in order to score the 15 marks here, okay? Okay, students, let's go to the discussion. Okay, you do not need to copy this part. This part here is all from your case study. Okay, I have written out the important information from your case study. So now I'm going to ask the class, what should we do, students? If you get this answer, this question in exam, you read the case study, how should you start? Or what must you write? Okay. So how should you start, students? Mm, okay, Yiwen, definition of sustainability reporting. Very good, Yiwen. You straight away go to the point. Because some students here, some students in other classes ask me, should we define sustainability first? Don't need straight away go to the definition of sustainability reporting. Okay, so am I going to do here is I'm going to give you a lot of keywords. So what do you need to do is after this live session, go back and write the full answers in full sentences. Okay, so the keyword here is definition of sustainability reporting. I'm going to just verbally explain to you. Your definition, you have to relate to the case study, right? So how do you relate it? You would explain that Print Expert prepares sustainability reporting, not only reports on the economic value of the company, but also reports on the social and the environmental information of Print Expert. So can you see now? I have changed the definition a little bit to relate it to the case study regarding Print Expert. Okay. Okay. And then we know that your definition covers economic, social, and environment, right? Okay, what must you do now, students, is you would have to tell me under economic in Print Expert Sustainability Report, what kind of information can they report? Under social, what kind of information can they report in their sustainability reporting? And under environment, what kind of information can Print Expert report on? Okay, let's start off with social first. Okay, under social. Inside your sustainability report, right, under the area social, what can Print Expert write about? Okay, anyone wants to try? You can actually find the answers in the case study. Okay. Okay, Hui Sim provides regional employment. Very good. That is your answer. Social here would mean that you talk about your people. So for Print Expert, they provide regional employment. So I'm going to give you the keywords here. Okay. And based on these keywords, you go back and write in full sentences. So Print Expert can report on that they provide job opportunities to the residents or to the society of around Perlis. So my keyword here is regional employment. Okay, next one. Environment. Okay, what can you talk about environment for Print Expert? Did Print Expert do anything regarding environment? Okay, you can try to look at the case study. So this is the case study. So did they do anything that touch on environment, or do they like do something that says that they create pollution or so on? Okay, Daryl, you mentioned compliance with Malaysian environmental regulation. Uh, Vashni also mentioned dispose in compliance with Malaysian regulation. Very good. That is the first answer. We have two answers here. So the first answer here is the keyword here is waste management. Okay. So under this keyword here, you would explain that print expert actually dispose of the chemical used in printing production according to the Malaysian rules and regulation. And then you add on under waste management, although they dispose of, but they still incur a low level of land and noise pollution. Okay, so that is the first item. The second item Yun Chuan mentioned is use of recycle or non-recycle paper. Very good. So under environment, print expert also can report on material usage. So what kind of material they use for their business. So under material usage, you would explain that print expert provides their customer the choice to use recycle or non-recycle for their printing jobs here. Okay, very good. So you can see that how you find answers from your case study, and then you explain based on the keyword given. Okay, now we go to economic. Okay, under economic, can you find the answers from the case study? No, right? The case study does not tell you anything about economic, right? Okay, what now you have to actually think outside the box. What do you understand about economic for sustainability reporting? Okay, under economic, you don't report on profit, you don't report on losses. Profit, loss, balance sheet, all is annual report. It's not the same as sustainability report. So under economic, okay, maybe you're not so sure, I will give the answer. Under economic, print expert can report on their market present. So that is the keyword here, market present. So market present would be print expert can do a competitor analysis. So they can do an analysis and compare how many competitors are there in Arau Police doing the same printing services. They can compare whether print expert is the market leader for printing services in Arau Police. Okay, so that is market present. Or another one you can write is supplier assessment. Okay, this supplier assessment would mean that where print experts source their supplier. Do they source their supplier locally in Arau Police, or print experts source their supplier overseas? Police very close to Thailand, right? 30 minutes drive only. So it could be they drive cross the border and buy their um, printing materials from Thailand and then come back to police and do their business. So you can talk about that under supplier assessment. Okay. Okay. So far, any question before I proceed further? Okay, students, all clear. So we just written on the introduction. We have not go into the sustainability stages of sustainability yet. So if you just write this introduction, you can score 3 or 4 marks out of the 15 marks already. Okay, so you can see that introduction is actually very important when you write your accounting theories. Okay, Vishni, you asked this question, how does market presence relate to sustainability? Market presence, if you look at quite a number of sustainability report, including Sunway, you can see that they like to report on comparing competitor, because when you compare with your competitor, you are actually telling your stakeholders that you are the leader in your particular industry. So if you are the leader in your particular industry, your stakeholders will feel that you have a good business, you have a good brand image. So that is actually linked to sustainability. Sustainability always not only talks about social environment, it also talks about the company having good reputation, having good brand image among their stakeholders or among the residents in a particular town or in a particular state here. Okay. Okay, so now students, we start with the stages. So we are going to look at the stage one first, okay? So let's start with stage one. So your answers here will be, you start writing the keyword or the heading here, stage one, why report. Okay, why report would relates to why suddenly the CEO one fine day comes to you and say that I want to prepare this report. So what is the CEO's motivation to prepare sustainability report? So this motivation here, you can use a lot of your accounting theories that you have learned in lecture 9 to explain the CEO's motivation. Okay. Okay. Now, students, can you all tell me the theories that you can use to explain why Print Expert decided to prepare sustainability report? There are quite a number of theories that you can use, and each of the theories will give you different meaning, different explanation. So, for example, some theories will explain the accountability. So it could be Print Expert wants to show accountability to their stakeholders. Or if you use another theory to explain, it could be that Print Expert prepares the sustainability report because they want to have economic benefits for the organization, or they want to have economic benefits for themselves. So you have to choose. For your tutorial question, there are a lot of theories here, but for your tutorial question, you only choose one or two. You do not write all the theories because your tutorial does not focus on theories alone. Tutorial question focus on stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, and stage 4. So you have a lot of more answers to write here. So you only choose two. But for discussion purposes, I'm going to show you all the theories here that you can use. Okay, anyone wants to try? What theories can we use for sustainability reporting, students? Okay, Yun Chuan mentioned legitimacy theory. Yes, you can use legitimacy theory. Or institutional theory. Yes, you can use institutional theory. Ewan mentioned stakeholder. Good, you can use stakeholder theory. And theories that you learn? What is this economic benefits? Economic benefits for yourself. Agency theory, not so relevant, Yun Chuan. Agency theory, there is not, the case study doesn't really talk about principal agent. Ewan mentioned positive accounting theory. Yes, positive accounting theory, looking at bonus plan hypothesis. That one is more relevant here. Okay, so we can use a lot of theories like your classmate already mentioned: legitimacy theory, stakeholder theory, institutional theory, and positive accounting theory. Okay, you can actually go back and type out or write out each of the theories, how it can link to print expert. But you only need two, so you just select whichever one you feel comfortable. If you choose legitimacy theory, let me just verbally explain to you. If you choose legitimacy theory, how can you explain? You will explain that print expert wants to operate within the boundaries of the resident of Arau. So the resident of Arau requires print expert to prepare sustainability reporting. So therefore, print expert have to prepare sustainability reporting to show evidence that they are meeting the society's norm or the society contract here. Okay, so that is legitimacy theory. If you use stakeholder theory, you can use normative stakeholder theory to explain, or you can use managerial branch stakeholder theory to explain. So if you use normative stakeholder theory, you would explain that the CEO is motivated to prepare sustainability report because they want to meet the expectation of all stakeholders in Arau Police. That is all. But if you look at managerial branch, you would explain that the CEO is motivated to prepare sustainability report because print expert wants to meet the expectation of influential stakeholders. For example, their customer and also print expert shareholders. So these two could be their most important stakeholders here. Okay. Can you see now? How can you relate your explanation? Institutional theory, you would use isomorphism. So isomorphism, you have cohesive. You also can use mimetic to explain. You also can use normative isomorphism to explain. So if you use cohesive, then your explanation would be print expert, prepare sustainability report because they are pressured by their powerful stakeholders, customer and shareholder. So that is what cohesive mean, right? Okay, if you use mimetic, you would explain that you can say that print expert is quite new in the printing services in Arau Police. So they prepare sustainability report because other printing businesses are preparing this report. So they want to copy what other companies are doing in Arau Police. And the last one, normative. Normative isomorphism means that take for example, print expert belongs to a environmental friendly association. So in that association, it requires their members to prepare sustainability reports. So therefore, no choice, print expert would have to prepare sustainability reporting because they have to follow the association ethics code of conduct, for example. Okay, so use your own words to explain. Okay, last one, positive accounting theory. I mentioned bonus plan, right? Okay, this one relates to self-interest. The manager or the CEO prepares sustainability report because their bonus is tied to sustainability reporting. So if they prepare the report, they will get higher bonuses for that financial year. Okay, so just take note, students. You're only required to choose two to explain your answers in this tutorial. Okay, before I proceed, any questions, students, regarding your theories in financial accounting? Any part that you are not sure to any part there? No. All good, students? Okay, Hui Sim, Miss, we can explain based on assumption, right? Yes. All these theories here, you cannot find the answers in the case study because the case study does not tell you the CEO's intention to prepare. So you can actually come up with your assumption that based on the legitimacy theory. So your assumption has to suit the definition, like definition of stakeholder theory. So you would explain what is the management or the CEO motivation here. Okay. So now let's move on to stage 2. Okay. So done with the theory already. Let's go on to stage 2. Okay, stage 2 here looks at whom the sustainability report should be prepared. So that will be like your targeted users. Okay, like your annual report or financial statement, we know that accountants prepare annual report. The targeted audience are shareholders, investors. But sustainability report, who are your targeted audience? You would have to determine your stakeholders. So print expert will have to find out who are their stakeholders. Are they focusing on all stakeholders? Then you would use normative branch. If they prepare the report for influential stakeholders, for example, customer or shareholders, then print expert would have to use managerial branch stakeholders theory to explain. So I'm not going to give you the answer here, the explanation here. I just gave you the keywords. If you use normative branch, then you would explain that print expert prepare sustainability report for all stakeholders. Okay, so that is normative branch. If you use managerial branch, then you would explain that print expert prepare sustainability report for their influential stakeholders, customer, shareholders. Okay, so that is stage 2 of sustainability reporting. Okay, Hui Sim, you mentioned that do we have to choose one or can explain both? Okay. Um, okay, and then I continue on with another question. If in the why report we choose normative branch, then in whom to report it must be the same, right? Yes, Yun Chuan. If stage 1 you choose normative branch stakeholder theory to explain the motivation, then stage 2 you have to use back the same stakeholder theory, which is normative branch. It has to be consistent. If you use two different theory to explain, then it will contradict with one another already. Okay, Hui Sim, you would only choose one. For example, if you think managerial branch is suitable for print expert, then you will explain managerial branch stakeholder theory for stage 2. Okay. Okay. Now let's go to stage 3. Okay, for your answers in stage 3, same here, you have to put the heading what to report. So what to report is what kind of information should I put inside my sustainability report? Like your financial statement, you know that you have to put profit and loss. You have to put asset to put liability. But for sustainability report, it is more flexible. You know that you have to report on 3 key areas: economic, you have to report on social, and you can report on environment. But social environment, the topic is so big, right? You can choose a lot of topics, right? How to choose the topics would depend on the demand for sustainability. So print expert would actually have to see whether there is a demand of information. If there is a demand, then only I report, right? If no demand, what is the purpose of me preparing the sustainability report? So how can print expert identify the demand? They have to talk to their stakeholders. So how can they talk to their stakeholders? You can do survey. Survey is very good, especially for customer. Like customer do your printing job, you ask them, are you happy with our printing job? Or you can do interview. Okay, this interview is one-on-one interview. You go interview your stakeholder, ask them, Which area do you think is important? Which area should we put inside our sustainability report? And you can do a larger scale like town hall meeting. So this town hall meeting is a larger scale meeting. It's like feedback, two-way feedback. You ask the opinion of your stakeholders and then you give your opinion. So both two-way feedback between print expert and their stakeholders. Okay. Okay. Last one. Last stage. Last stage is format. What format should print use to prepare sustainability reporting? Okay, students, anyone wants to try? We learn two formats, right? So what are they? Which format can they use? Okay, Huisim GRI standard. The other one is integrated reporting framework. Good. Even also mention GRI or integrated reporting framework. Okay, for this tutorial, you only choose one. You don't need to write both. You choose one. So if you choose GRI standard, then you would have to explain a little bit more. Tell me what is GRI? How can print expert use GRI to prepare sustainability report? So GRI got part one, part two, part three, right? Three standards or three reporting standards there to do, right? If you talk about integrated reporting, then you would say that print expert would use the framework to prepare the integrated reporting. So integrated reporting is similar as your sustainability reporting, but they combine everything into one report. Okay, other types of, you only choose one, but I'm going to give you a few more answers. If you think you want to write, you can write that. Winners of sustainability report. So print expert is quite new. They want to prepare the report. So if they are new, they can refer to the winners. The winner that already won the award. For example, Sunway won some award here. They can refer to sustainability report of Sunway. Okay. Other format, we are in Malaysia, right? So you can, if you want, you can discuss about Bursa Malaysia sustainability reporting framework. And then you can choose one more, United Nations SDG goals. So that is the 17 Sustainable Development Goals by United Nations. Up to you. Choose whichever one you feel comfortable, you know how to explain, and then write a few points regarding, for example, GRI standard. Okay. Okay, students, so I have reached the end of question two. So before I proceed to the next question, do you have any queries regarding the four stages of sustainability? Any any questions or any query here? No? Okay, Vashni, you mentioned, Miss, how long do we have to explain for stage four? Um, Stage four here, let's say you choose GRI standard, you would maybe give me 3 points or 4 points regarding GRI standard in full sentences. You don't need to go into very detail, just a brief summary about GRI standards here. Okay. Okay. Yun Chuan, is dialogue applicable as one of the ways to know what information to report on for print expert? Yes, Yun Chuan, you can put in dialogue as well. Dialogue will be you talk to your open dialogue, talk to your stakeholders. Okay. So if you got other points here, you can actually put in your answers. Xiaohui, is it okay if we provide 2 points with one elaboration each instead of providing 1 points with 3 elaboration. Will marks be the same? For stage 4, it's better that you choose one because print expert, right? They want to prepare sustainability report. It's better that you choose one and explain in 3 points instead of choosing two, because choosing two you are like telling the examiner or the reader that you can do this, you can do that, but you do not actually tell them a definite answer. For example, for stage 4 of the format of sustainability reporting. Okay, Eunice will what is the marks allocation for the stages of sustainability? So the total marks is 15, right? So what do you do is you would have to divide them. You can put them equally for each of the stages. So in exam, you will get the total marks. So based on the totals, you see the requirement of the question. How many theories you are supposed to write. So based on how many theories, you split the marks, the total marks accordingly here. Okay, students, all good? Okay, now let's go to question 1. Okay, question 1 is short, very short one. It's regarding lecture 10. Okay, lecture 10 is a very short chapter, right? So in lecture 10, what you need to know is you know this 3 theory. What is public interest theory? You need to know what is capture theory. And under capture theory, there are ways to capture a regulator, right? So you need to know the few ways how to capture the regulator. And the third one, you also need to know economic interest group theory. So for lecture 10, where do you apply it is when you get a case study that talks about accounting standard, that talks about regulation, that talks about law. You have a regulator and then you have an industry and so on. Then that is when you should apply regulation of financial accounting theories. Okay, now let's go to our tutorial question. Tutorial question also very short. The question starts off with question 1. We go back to question 1. Accounting regulation means regulation of accounting practices by independent body. So independent body regulates the accounting standard. So for example, you are in Malaysia. So in Malaysia, accounting practices are monitored by MESB, Malaysian Accounting Standard Board. So Malaysian Accounting Standard Board is the function is the same like ISB. Okay. So now you go to the requirement. This question here is very short. So maximum marks is only 10 marks. The question asks you explain 2 advantages and 2 drawbacks of accounting regulation. So you just need to give 2 good things about having accounting standard and 2 bad things about having accounting standard. Don't give extra. The question asks 2, just give 2. If you give extra, you waste time and no marks will be given for the extra advantages or disadvantages. Okay, let's go to the discussion. We start off with advantages first. Okay, before you discuss the advantages, I want you to go to look at the flow chart here. Okay, the flow chart tells you there are 3 theories: public interest theory, economic interest group theory. Okay, I'm going to ask all of you, which theory should we use to explain advantages of accounting regulation? Which theory should we use to explain good thing about having accounting standard? Which one, student? Do we use public interest theory? Do we use capture? Or do we use economic interest group? Okay. Okay, Yiwen mentioned public interest. Yunchuan also mentioned public interest. Okay, good. The answer is public interest. We cannot use capture theory because capture theory does not explain good things about accounting standard. It explains the industry capture the regulator, right? So we cannot use capture theory. Economic interest group theory also does not explain the good thing about accounting standard. It is telling you that group A, B, C fighting with one another, right? So we cannot use. So the theory here is public interest theory. Okay. So what I want you all students is to write the definition yourself. Okay, I'm not going to give you the definition. I'm just going to verbally explain to you. So how can you change the definition of public interest theory to your case study? Okay, your case study is about MASB, right? So you would explain that MASB monitors set the accounting standard in Malaysia to benefit the Malaysian public interest. Correct, right? We are talking MASB, we are talking about Malaysian citizen, right? And then you would say that the MASB, the purpose of monitoring the accounting standard is to boost the investors' confidence in Bursa Malaysia. There is also another public interest theory definition, right? The purpose is to boost up the investors' confidence in the stock market. Okay, so that is your definition. Okay, now I'm going to go into the two disadvantages. Okay, there are actually a lot of advantages, good things that you can talk about accounting standard. Okay, using your own understanding, students, using your own word. Why is it good to have accounting standard or accounting regulation? Anyone wants to try? You as an accounting student, right? You learn the accounting standard. So based on your own understanding, why you feel that it's good to have accounting standard? What is the purpose of accounting standard? Okay. Hui Xin mentioned comparability. Good. That is the answer. One of the advantages. So if Hui Xin, your keyword here is comparability, right? So under comparability, you will give a few points explaining why accounting standard has this comparability advantage. Okay? Then even mention transparency, reduce information asymmetry. Good, even. This is also another advantages. So under transparency, you would give a few discussion point here explaining how accounting standard can increase transparency. Okay, so very good here, students. I'm going to give you two more different advantages. That one is my model answer, but your answers here are correct. Okay, so my first one is the first advantage here is I explained that accounting standard, the main purpose here is to benefit or provide benefits to the stakeholders. Why? Because if you have accounting standard, the accounting standard is high quality, it will be able to provide clear guidance to your accountants and financial statement preparer, right? When they prepare the financial statement, they will follow the standard. So if when they follow the standard, it will be easy for your users to interpret the accounting standard. So users will use your financial statement to make economic decision, and it will actually boost your investors or stakeholders confidence in the Malaysian stock market. Okay, so can you see now I gave the keyword here, provide benefits to stakeholder, and based on the keyword here, I explain in detail how accounting standard can provide benefits to stakeholders. Okay. Okay, so now I move to the second advantages. The second advantages is similar to Ewan's explanation, transparency, more transparent. So the second advantages here would be I explained that accounting standard ensures a minimum amount of accounting information available for your users. Correct, right? Your standard says that you must recognize this way, disclose this information, and also measure it this way, right? So you actually provide minimum information that companies must follow. So if you provide a lot of information to your user, it will help them with the decision making. And you can add on that it will increase transparency. So increased transparency means that reduce information asymmetry between your shareholders and the company. Okay. Okay, students. So far, any question about advantages? Anything that you're not sure? So if you have your own answer are correct. This is just my model answer. You don't have two fixed advantages. You have a lot more. Apart from comparability, transparency, I think you can find even more advantages of having accounting standard. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to move on to the last part of the question one, which is discussing about disadvantages. Okay, let's go to disadvantages. Okay, disadvantages, same format here. Before you discuss the disadvantages, look back at your flow chart. And from your flow chart here, public interest we are not using because it's not relevant. So now you have to decide, are we using capture theory or are we using economic interest group theory to discuss the disadvantages of accounting regulation? Okay, which one, student? Which one do you think is more relevant? What is capture theory? Capture theory only refers to the regulator set the law to regulate only one industry. Economic interest group theory talks about group A, group B, group C, all fighting with one another. So which one is more relevant when you talk about disadvantages of accounting regulation? One industry, or you're talking about a group of people, many group of people? Economic interest. Yun Chuan also mentioned economic interest. Yes, economic interest group theory is more relevant when you talk about disadvantages of having accounting standard, because we have various group here to discuss. Okay, not only one industry. So we do not use capture theory. So our theory here is, you can write down economic interest group theory. Okay, so your definition here, students, you have to relate to the case study. So I just write down the keywords for you. Economic interest group theory is about various group, right? So we have group one, maybe you can say auditors. And then you have group two, maybe you can say the industry affected. And you have group three, talking about the professional bodies like your ACCA, CPA, CIMA, and so on. So you can see that group auditors, industry, and professional bodies are in conflict with one another. So group auditors, industry, and professional body, whoever has the most political power would lobby MASP in development and monitoring of the accounting standard in Malaysia in the expense of the other group. So you can see now that I have changed the definition a bit, related to the case study now, relating it to MASP. Okay. Okay. Now let's look at the disadvantages. Okay. Rishni, you want me to repeat that again? Can um you all understand the definition of economic interest group theory, right? So now I change the definition a bit. So we have auditors, industry, and professional body are in conflict with one another. So the strongest or the most political power group would be the one that managed to lobby MESB, and MESB will develop and set the standard according to that group interest in the expense of others. Okay, do you get it, students? Yeah, I know I'm going a bit fast because we are running out of time already. Okay. Okay, so never mind. I straight away show you the disadvantages because we are running out of time there. So the first disadvantages about accounting standard is we know that accounting standard we learn today, 5 years later, what you learn today is not relevant anymore. So we know that accounting standard tends to change frequently here. Okay, why does accounting standard change? Because in order to suit the nature of business environment, like IFRS 9, your financial instrument, the standard changes because of global financial crisis, right? And also accounting standard change because to suit the needs of different group. Okay, for example, auditors. So auditors feel that they for this particular accounting standard, they feel that they need to do a lot of audit work. So since they need to do a lot of audit work, they will go to MASB and tell MASB that this standard is not good enough. You have to create and develop a new standard because to reduce our audit work, something like that. So therefore, MASB will change the accounting standard. Okay. Okay, that is first one. Okay, second one, the disadvantage is we know that based on economic interest group theory, the accounting standard development standard setting process is very biased, where it has very bureaucratic decision. So when ISB developed the standard, ISB standard setting can be influenced by whoever has political power. So if auditors has political power, they can influence IASB on how IASB set the standard. So you can see that there is a possibility delay in developing accounting standard because accounting standard it takes about 5 years to officially launch it to the companies to use it. Okay, so due to bureaucratic decision. Okay, so students, I have reached the end of the tutorial, live tutorial. So students, do you have any final questions that you want to ask regarding question one? Okay, Yun Chuan, Miss, after we mentioned the related theory at the beginning, do we still need to relate theory to the following points or just explain in general? Okay, you can see that here, I gave the theory already, right? I gave the definition, and you can see my disadvantage here. I still touch a little bit on the economic interest group theory. So you can see here that tendency for accounting regulation to change, I relate it to needs of different group of stakeholder. So accounting standard tends to change because of the power of different groups. And you can see that from the second point, delay in developing accounting standard, right? Due bureaucratic decision. So this bureaucratic decision also linked to your economic interest group theory, right? Groups has political power. Okay, So you just briefly touch on a little bit on your economic interest group theory in your discussion point. Okay, students? Okay, good. Any more questions? Okay, students, I think no more question already, right? Okay, we run over time a little bit already. So I would not hold your